Ship prefix. A ship prefix is a combination of letters, usually abbreviations used in front of the name of a civilian or naval ship that has historically served numerous purposes, such as identifying the vessel's mode of propulsion, purpose, or ownership/nationality. In the modern environment, prefixes are used inconsistently in civilian service, however, in government service, the vessel's prefix is seldom missing due to government regulations dictating a certain prefix be present. Today, the common practice is to use a single prefix for all warships of a nation's navy and other prefixes for auxiliaries and ships of allied services, such as coast guards. For example, the modern Navy of Japan adopts the prefix J as Japanese ship. However, not all navies used prefixes. This includes the significant navies of China. France, though France has a NATO designation for its naval prefix, which is FS French ship, Russia, and Spain, which like France uses the NATO designation SBS Spanish ship if needed. Usage. Historically, prefixes for civilian vessels often identified the vessel's mode of propulsion, such as SS screw steamer, MV motor vessel, or PS paddle steamer. Alternatively, they might have reflected a vessel's purpose, e.g. RMS Royal Mail Ship or RV Research Vessel. These days, general civilian prefixes are used inconsistently and frequently not at all. In terms of abbreviations that may reflect a vessel's purpose or function, technology has introduced a broad variety of differently named vessels onto the world's oceans, such as LPGC liquefied petroleum gas carrier, or TB tugboat, or DB derrick barge. In many cases, though, these abbreviations are used for purely formal, legal identification and are not used colloquially or in the daily working environment. In terms of vessels used by nations' armed services, prefixes primarily reflect ownership, but may also indicate a vessel's type or purpose as a subset. Historically, the most significant navy was Britain's Royal Navy, which has usually used the prefix HMS standing for His/Her Majesty's ship. The Royal Navy also adopted nomenclature that reflected a vessel's type or purpose, e.g. HM sloop. Commonwealth navies adopted a variation, with, for example, HMAS, HMIX, and HMNZS pertaining to Australia, Canada, and New Zealand, respectively. In the early days of the United States Navy, abbreviations often included the type of vessel, for instance USF United States frigate, but this method was abandoned by President Theodore Roosevelt's Executive Order No. 549 of 1907, which made United States ship USS the standard signifier for U.S. and ships on active commissioned service. In the United States Navy, that prefix officially only applies while the ship is in active commission, with only the name used before or after a period of commission, and for all vessels in service rather than commissioned status. However, not all navies used prefixes. This includes the significant navies of China, France, and Russia. From the 20th century onwards, most navies identify ships by letters or hull numbers, pennant numbers, or a combination of such. These identification codes were and still are painted on the side of the ship. Each navy has its own system. The United States Navy uses hull classification symbols, and the Royal Navy, e.g. D-35 is Destroyer 35, HMS Dragon, and other navies of Europe and the Commonwealth use pennant numbers. These tables list both current and historical prefixes known to have been used. Generic merchant navy prefixes. These prefixes are generally used for merchant vessels of any nationality. National or military prefixes. Prefix conventions. The designations for United Kingdom ships applied at the time of the British Empire, before the establishment of separate navies for the Dominions. In the Royal Netherlands Navy, HNLMS is the prefix in English, a translation of the Dutch original HRMS or CRMS. HRMS should preferably not be used in English language documents. Nevertheless, it is often seen on the World Wide Web. Until the moment a Dutch naval ship officially enters active service in the fleet, the ship's name is used without the prefix. Since King Willem Alexander succeeded Queen Beatrix on 30 April 2013, HRMS is replaced by ZRMS. MS, MS, RMS, MS, MS. In Australia, the prefix new ship is used to denote ships that have yet to be commissioned into the fleet. In the United States, all prefixes other than USS, USNS, USF, and USSEC were made obsolete in 1901 when President Theodore Roosevelt issued an executive order fixing American naval nomenclature. USSEC was replaced by USC when the Revenue Cutter Service merged with the United States Life-Saving Service to become the United States Coast Guard in 1915. USC also was replaced by USC when the United States Lighthouse Service became a part of the U.S. Coast Guard in 1939. GSC and GS was replaced by NOAAs when the United States Coast and Geodetic Survey merged with other U.S. government scientific agencies to form the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration NOAA in 1970. USC was replaced by US when the United States Commission on Fish and Fisheries was reorganized as the U.S. Bureau of Fisheries in 1903, and USC in turn was replaced in 1940 by US FWS when the Bureau of Fisheries merged with the United States Department of the Interior's Division of Biological Survey to form the Department of the Interior. Seagoing ships, fish, and wildlife service ships with the prefix US FWS that were transferred to NOAA when NOAA was created. A United States Navy ship. Vessels, such as yard and harbor craft, that are not commissioned and in service are officially referred to by name or hull number without prefix. Prior to commissioning, ships may be described as a pre-commissioning unit, or PCU, for example. The uncommissioned Gerald R. Ford CVN-78 has been described as the pre-commissioning unit PCU Gerald R. Ford. However, the vessel's official name is Gerald R. Ford without any prefix, and will be known as USS Gerald R. Ford once commissioned. Military Sealift Command MSC civilian crewed ships in service are given the prefix United States Naval Ship USNS. When it is stricken from the fleet list, a ship typically has the prefix X added to its name to distinguish it from any active ships bearing the same name. For example, after USS Constellation CV-64 was retired in 2003, she became referred to as X Constellation. In science fiction, fictional equivalents of tri-letter prefixes frequently appear in English-language science fiction works. Apply. Star Trek: The United Federation of Planets uses the prefix USS for its starships. While Gene Roddenberry never defined what the abbreviation stood for, some speculate that it means United Spaceship, United Starship, or United Federation of Planets Starfleet Starship/Ship. In the alternate mirror universe, Terran Empire use an ISS prefix instead. Other races use different prefixes for their ships. Klingons use IKS Imperial Klingon Ship or IKC Imperial Klingon Cruiser. Romulan vessels typically receive the prefix IRW Imperial Romulan Warbird, or RIS, where some speculate that it means Romulan Imperial Ship, and CHR. CHR is from novelist Diane Duane's imagining of the Star Trek universe, in which the Romulans refer to their home planet as CH Rihan. Though Duane's version has a loyal following among many fans, it is not considered official Star Trek canon. Similarly, the Ferengi designation of FMS and the Kardashian CDS are also not canon. Star Wars: The Galactic Empire sometimes uses the prefix ISD for Imperial Star Destroyer. Babylon 5: The Earth Alliance uses the prefix EAS for Earth Alliance ship. Some fan material also uses it for Earth Alliance station. Elite, Dangerous: The Federation uses the prefix FNS Federal Naval Ship for some military ships. The Empire uses INV Imperial Naval Vessel. Firefly vessels in the Union of Allied Planets fleet are given the prefix IAV for Interstellar Alliance Vessel. Wing Commander: The Terran Confederation uses TCS Terran Confederation Ship for its vessels. Halo United Nations Space Command spacecraft use the prefix UNS. The Covenant use three-letter designations for ship class such as CAS or CSO. Mass Effect features several prefixes, primarily SSV for Systems Alliance Space Vehicle and MSV for Merchant Space Vehicle, used on numerous human commercial ships, as well as PFS for a Tyrian hierarchy naval craft and a freighter AML Demeter of unknown affiliation. Dead Space USG, standing for United Spacefaring Guild, which oversees civilian spacecraft operation, including the Planet Cracker-class leader USG Ishimura of the Concordance Extraction Corporation, USM for the Earth Defense Force of EarthGov, and CMS for its former opponents, the Sovereign Colonies Armed Forces. Starcraft Brood War. The United Earth Directorate uses DSS presumably for Directorate spaceship, e.g. DSS Alexander. The Terran Confederacy used CSF Confederate Space Fleet, e.g. CSF Ragnarok, for their battle cruisers. Killzone. The Interplanetary Strategic Alliance ISA uses ISC for Interplanetary Strategic Cruiser. The Moon is a harsh mistress. The Federated Nations use FNS, presumably meaning Federated Nations ship. Alien. The ships use prefix US for United States cargo spaceship on the Nostromo, Prometheus, and Covenant. The Lost Fleet. The Alliance used the prefix ASN for Allied Systems Navy, or possibly Alliance of Systems Navy. The Syndicate worlds do not use prefixes. Codominium vessels use the prefix CDS for codominium ship. On reverse, the Manticoran Kingdom uses HMS as a prefix. The Graysons use JNS Grayson Navy ship, and the Havenite ships use PNS People's Navy ship, and later RHNS Republic of Haven Navy ship, being reflections of actual ship prefixing, traditions, and mirroring the Napoleonic Wars. The Solarian League uses SLNS Solarian League Navy ship, and the Andromani Empire uses EANS for Imperial Andromani Navy ship. The culture ships are identified by a three-letter prefix denoting class such as GSV for General Systems Vehicle or ROU for Rapid Offensive Unit, followed by their personal name. The Expanse ships of the United Nations Navy use the prefix UNN, while ships of the Martian Congressional Republic Navy are prefixed with MICN. The Novu, a generation ship commissioned by the Church of Latter-day Saints, was prefixed with LDSs for Latter-day Saints ship, and later changed to Opus and rechristened as the Opus Behemoth representing the Outer Planets Alliance. Unreal Tournament ships mentioned there have prefixes such as ITV Interstellar Transport Vessel. The first non-tutorial match in the tournament happens on board of ITV Oblivion and ISV Interstellar Science Vessel. Ship's name being ISV Cran from Unreal. Unreal, Return to Na Poly ISV, ISV Cran, and UMS Unified Military Services, a prefix for warships. The Orville. The Planetary Union uses the prefix USS, presumably for Union spaceship in homage to Star Trek. Treasure Planet, Battle at Procyon. The Terran Empire uses the prefix RLS, which stands for Royal Lightship. This is also a direct homage to Robert Louis Stevenson, author of the original Treasure Island. The Procyon Expanse uses the prefix PSR, which stands for Procyon Star Runner. Destroyermen. The Grand Alliance uses the USS prefix, since all Allied warships are run by the American Sick Clan. The Alliance's only airship is given the prefix U as United Homes Airship. The Empire of New Britain Isles uses his/her Imperial Majesty's ship. The Republic of Real People uses RRPS Republic of Real People ship. The New United States uses NUS New United States ship. Neither the Holy Dominion nor the League of Tripoli use prefixes, although the KMS Hessen is mentioned once. It isn't clear if the prefix is internally used or not. Titanfall. The Interstellar Manufacturing Corporation, the main antagonists of the series, use the IMS prefix. The origin of this prefix is unknown. Free Space. A variety of ship prefixes are used depending on the species, faction allegiance, and class of the vehicle. Prominent examples include GT and GV for Galactic Terran and Galactic Vasudin respectively, INT for Neo-Terran, PV for Parliamentary Vasudin, and just S for Shivan. These are then further supplemented with a type of ship identifier following the species and faction prefixes, such as B for bomber, C for cruiser, CV for corvette, D for destroyer, and F for fighter, among many examples. As such, PVD would indicate a parliamentary Vasudan destroyer, NTF would indicate a Neo-Terran fighter, GTC would indicate a Galactic Terran cruiser, GVCV would indicate a Galactic Vasudan corvette, and SP would indicate a Shivan bomber.